And welcome to the Raw Preview. We are the Dudley Boys of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to look ahead to tonight's episode of Man Around. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to look ahead to Raw tonight and the go-home show ahead of Night of Champions.
This is a compliment, but they're not a very big one, I suppose, in terms of 2025 Fed. The King and Queen of the Ring is the best thing the Fed's done this year. I think it's the best thing. I think it's... And the John Cena heel turn.
It's the worst thing of all time.
It's like this incredible moment that now dies
weekly.
A little bit more every single week. The impact and the excitement at the moment. I can see you're already flaring up to have a fight on the SmackDown.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm going to save it for SmackDown.
If you like that, you're part of the problem, mate. But we'll talk about that on the SmackDown.
Sorry for having my own opinions.
They're the wrong ones. They're the wrong ones, and I saw loads of people having them. They're the wrong ones. There are the wrong ones. Like, I did like your Photoshop where you put John Cena's head.
I didn't do it, obviously.
When you credit the artist.
I didn't know who did it. Who made this? No.
all right, you're back. Actually, that's fine. I thought you made it. I was like, bless him. But no.
Busy man. Man about town.
No, I'm not. So much is rubbish about that. But the King and Queen of the Ring, conversely, it's been lovely.
Yeah.
Just been luxuriating in that. Really enjoyed all the speculation, the predicting, the fantasy booking. And now we're at the last two.
Winning a coffee.
Oh, yeah. Cannot wait for both these matches tonight, regardless how they play out.
Oh, sorry, what?
I had Sammy.
Coffee on the King of the Ring finals. So, yeah, really, really excited for that tonight. And, you know, massive global controversies notwithstanding, seeing how those tournament finals play out and the circumstances going into SummerSlam and whatnot. Really, really good stuff. Just feeling like I need it at the moment. Kind of feeling like I need those things as I watch a lot of other things.
You need
stutter and stammer and stumble bumble their way to a conclusion.
You need food, water, and shelter. That's what you need.
I mean, for my entertainment and escapism.
Okay.
Taking that as red.
Yeah.
Taking that as red brand.
Big show tonight, though.
Is he? No, not. It's the last thing that's coming in tomorrow. Him.
At this rate, the old Jurassic tenor surrounding WWE's main event scene.
Imagine like sort of next summer, like get excited, it's a Jericho tag run or something like that. Like that's not impossible, is it?
No. Anything's possible, really. Look, I will say this. I was just thinking, right? I was about to do a tweet. I was like, no. Never tweet negatively. If you give a shit, which I don't necessarily, but if you don't want any, ratio attempts or, people crying in your replies, which I tend not to care about, it's only if I can word it nicely. And I couldn't word it nicely, this John Cena CM Punk thing. But my goodness, it was awful. Where was I going to go with this? I've completely lost track of my mind.
I mean, we agree, which is nice.
But never tweet negatively on a weekend. Because these WWE fans, the worst of them, I've met so many lovely ones, but the worst of them have no lies. If you tweet negatively about Raw, it seems to be kind of fine, really. SmackDown, and then the weekend of these losers having nothing to do. And they're not all losers, but a lot of them are. A lot of you are. They honestly, if you have the same vitriol on a tweet on a Tuesday morning compared to a Saturday morning,
that's interesting.
Honestly, it's a fascinating psychological experiment I've been conducting off and on over the past, I would say, 6 or 7 years. Is if you have a problem with something on SmackDown, these people will swarm you en masse because they've got unfulfilled personal lives, which I guess reminds them on a weekend when they have got nothing to do, no distractions. Wrong, negative, and can't you say anything nice about WWE? Well, not this year, no. And I was just thinking, circling back to my point.
Does that apply with Collision?
Yeah.
Same thing. Like
not on a smaller scale. Because I've been negative about Collision pretty much since launch. Yeah. Even if I like it, it's still an imposition.
Remember that AEW Dark when you got some real...
Yeah, when I had the absolutely unbelievable take that it was simply televised Dark Elevation. Because that's essentially what it is. This wrestler needs a win. Let's pair them in a narrativeless match that is really... It serves just the two purposes. For it to be good and for one person to win... I'd bet my life on
Angry Weekends on Wrestling Twitter.
Oh, no, that's crazy.
That's an interesting thing. Never thought about it before.
But I was trying to frame the tweet, so I'll try and maybe expand upon it here, because I won't be covering SmackDown. But I'm going to say something nice at the end of it. Is that it is quite incredible to think that as recently as January 5th, 2025, this year, WWE felt completely red hot unstoppable. Like red, white hot, incandescent, unstoppable. What the hell happened? Like, what the hell happened? But in this John Cena CM Punk thing, I just want 2 minutes on it, because
this is Raw preview fodder, in my opinion, because
Punk might have a response tonight.
I think he absolutely needs one, and I think he's too... Even in this story, sorry, Sidge, even in the body of this storyline, which is playing out horrifically, he stands a greater chance of cutting the promo he would probably rather cut on this Raw than the Riyadh SmackDown. Yes. Especially a response one, especially one with no Cena there to come back to. You know, I'm thinking like the sort of thing where the night after Elimination Chamber, and he was unreal.
Yeah.
Stood on the table.
That was the last time I've seen anything in him.
Screaming down the lens, the magic, you know, the one he cut before the Rumble, where he said, I'll throw Hulk Hogan's dusty old ass out. Yeah. Those nights, those great CM Punk ones. You're not getting that on Friday. Maybe you will get that on Friday at SmackDown, but the unavoidable.
You can't do it there. He has to do it here, really.
We'll hang heavy in the titty on the Friday.
It just, I was completely baffled by the fan response. Not really, because people like what they like, you know? And it is genuinely fine, as long as you're not a knobhead about it, right? But I can't remember who tweeted this, but someone said, did John Cena cut this pipe bomb from the position he cut it because he couldn't sit down with his legs crossed for that amount of time?
That's good. That is good stuff.
Genuinely, is that the reason?
But what a problem that created.
Well, that's the thing.
Because if you,
and this is the most important, like, Fed occurrence, the most talked about thing, so I might as well get it out here, because I am actually, you know, otherwise, this Raw looks quite decent, yeah? My goodness, like, if you go back and think about, you know, when I have that thing about the endless backstage corridors in a typical AEW building, and when they were backstage interruption promo mad, not quite as much anymore, which is good, but there would be people just instantly materializing next to their rival, and if you took a bird's eye view of the backstage area of AEW, it was ridiculous, right? That same take applies to the original pipe bomb, because John Cena is, you know, he's taking a table bump. Who hasn't? He's lying there for a long time, but you don't really see that on camera because of where Punk is sitting. So that was always a bit silly, but who cares? The promo was, you know, the promo. I'm not going to talk about the promo. The original one was unbelievable. The idea to throw back in such excruciating, pointless detail was farcical, absolutely farcical. I thought the idea was cute if they went far enough with it. Like the magic of the pipe bomb was legitimately, I am in disbelief that CM Punk is either saying these things or they are this desperate to sell a pay-per-view in 2011 that they are sanctioning him to say these things. It was legitimately voice of the voiceless stuff, because we tried to, like, protest, but we were like, for all Vince heard and all Vince cared. So it was a perfect nickname, a perfect moment. Completely went to crap.
Thank you.
Sorry, mate. Like, virtually everything did at that time. But they were powerful, seemingly accurate, seismic words, right? This wasn't. What annoys me most about it, other than Cena's delivery, which was, I would describe as a moderate improvement. People said he's back. He's not. It was just less terrible, vaguely.
Still very in a mirror to me.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's John Cena. He's always been a terrible professional
which was
wrestler.
Funny because we've watched the original Pipe Bomb over and over again. John Cena doesn't have to. I don't hold it against John Cena that he doesn't remember the words and the intonations the way that I would, for example.
Yeah.
But knowing that he was going to cut this promo, I sort of do.
Yeah.
Like, get it watched a few times, do a quick bit of tape study, and know the beats and know because every time it fell off a little bit, your brain goes, you need to do that bit again, but do it better and do it right. Yeah. You actor. You Hollywood actor. Do it better and do it right.
It's very rare that I am let down by something WWE related because I just don't care. I don't have the expectations or the anticipation to then feel disappointment. I broadly feel nothing, right? How amazing would it have been? Like, truly sharp, clever, like the biggest grin would have broken out on my face with it. That is no less than genius. Like, and I can't believe you've done it, how well it would actually tie back. If John Cena had just said, "Hi, Colt Cabana, how are you doing?" Can you imagine? Not only is it like a verbatim, obviously,
feels like a discussion point backstage.
Yeah, that's what.
Didn't it? Felt like that. Right?
Can you imagine if he'd said that? It would have been one of the all-time great promo moments in John Cena's career or in modern WWE, just to repeat exactly what he said, given everything that's followed between 2011 and 2025. As soon as he started doing this, you sit there, and then he went, "Hi." I was like, "Oh, he's gonna say Claudio Castagnoli," right? Ibu, friend of the channel. Hi, Ibu. How you doing? Speculates, or might be informed, who knows, that CC, Claudio Castagnoli, was code for them doing the Colt Cabana line without doing it. If that's true, what? Like, and Nick Nemeth, because they've used Nick Jackson, right? I don't know where the hell Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona, Matt, Nick, CC. So there's a potential bit of code usage of CC, Claudio Castagnoli, Colt Cabana. I'm getting somewhere with this as well.
Yeah.
There is an alternative to this as well that I've seen.
Tell me.
There's a specific, so CM Punk, when he was particularly angry with the Rock Cena 2, would constantly use Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder as the people that he also felt deserved the spots.
Yes.
And it was when...
And he had the Claudio t-shirt
doing the WrestleMania promo in the Claudio t-shirt. And my thought was, Colt Cabana was name one. And he's gone, kind of like, too many old wounds there. But I did do this a lot of the time. So if you want to go for these three, they would be the ones to go with. And I thought that was
There's literally an interview with him talking about them taking up space on the WrestleMania card. He's talking about Rock and Cena.
Yeah.
Taking up, and Cena. Ask Zack Ryder, ask Dolph Ziggler, ask Cesaro. He's name checks all three.
He name checks Cesaro as well, does he? I remember those, but he would always go lean on Ziggler and Ryder. And there was a period where he was always wearing the Cesaro, the red T-shirt for the press stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
I thought that was the names as a kind of...
So why has Cena then said that Punk held him down? Because he's a hypocrite heel?
Because it's a frigging mess.
It's a total mess.
They probably said, like, can I do the Colt Cabana line? He said, I'd really rather he didn't. It's like, there's some things that are a bit too, it's going to pull up some other stuff. He's like, well, like, what else you got? And he's like, well, way back when, it was those guys. I would do that if you want. And then nobody stopped to ask, does this make any sense? Is this anything? No, it doesn't. I just name stuff. And then on it goes. So
I'm sorry for stepping on the dick of the SmackDown review, because I know you want to talk about it more in depth on there.
Sloppy shop stuff.
Because it's just like So I'll get onto this thing, right? Again, if that theory is true and they don't want to mention Colt Cabana's name on camera, even though they've literally referred to the, I guess, trademark name of an AEW talent in Claudio Castagnoli, because the other two are what? TNA, so who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, bloody hell, no offense, but Cardona's probably popping in his living room for getting mentioned on a sacred WWE program. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like he'd probably pay them.
Get the T-shirt ready.
Yeah. If, in fact, this theory of a code is true, just say it.
Yeah.
If you're so willing to go to the line of reference Colt Cabana, but do it in an alliterative code to another wrestler. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying, like, if that's true, just say, hi, Colt Cabana, how you doing?
Nick, that's quite cute. Matt, Nick, and CC is quite cute.
It would have been the ultimate, oh my God, like pop of, he's calling him a hypocrite without, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This theme that they've danced around to underpin this retread of John Cena versus CM Punk, of either I'm a hypocrite or you're a hypocrite, or hypocrisy because we're going to Saudi Arabia and you said go suck a blood money covered dick. They've completely botched it beyond belief.
It's phony line stepping. It's fake.
Why when you can't do it, do you decide, oh, we'll still do it? You obviously can't tell the story. So you're dancing around and doing these nudge, nudge, wink, wink things to the story.
Which half of the stuff doesn't even resonate, by the way, because by the end of Friday's promo, you've got the fans just chanting for John Cena.
Oh, God, I know.
Right. So if that's not the clearest illustration of this being an almighty botch, that by the end of this promo, John Cena has baby-faced himself to the town that SmackDown was in. If only for a night, because I understand that people want to cheer John Cena if he's rocking up to town for the last
doing
time.
the dueling chants irrespective of his rule anyway.
Right. This John Cena heel turn, nightmare, living nightmare. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk in the babyface territory that was WWE, increasingly feeling past tense. The two biggest ones, right? In-house babyfaces, as recent as a month ago, Saturday Night's Main Event, the pop that CM Punk got, right? By miles. Maybe Jey Uso falls just underneath those two, but otherwise, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, two biggest babyfaces. They've had their reactions and the genuine sentiment towards these two babyfaces diluted / halved by their feuds with John Cena, because this character, it doesn't work.
It
doesn't
never
make
did.
sense. Cannot function.
I mean, it drew lots of money, but
it was
narratively, it's never worked.
We talked about this before. Narratively, he broke the whole thing in what was fortuitously for him a broken narrative universe, as overseen by Vince McMahon. Triple H did not, and increasingly this is feeling past tense, oversee a broken narrative universe. Like, I will welcome any criticism you want of Triple H, but while I continue to hold The Rock so responsible for so much of this as relates to John Cena and as pertains, and you've seen it now with R-Truth, by the way. I know this is loads of SmackDown dick stepping, but it's tied in. There is a man, for better and worse, that just lays his stuff out and plots to it. And goddamn, if it feels like you're walking through the desert sometimes without a can machine, or the can machine is merely a mirage, tough, because you will get there, but you are going to be made to walk through the desert. That's how Triple H likes selling stories. And look what happens when somebody dares to ask him to pivot. He cannot do it. That's a failing of his as much as it is a credit to the stuff I like. And the John Cena heel turn is one, and the R-Truth, we've hired him back. You what? And now I've got to put him in the Money in the Bank main event. What? And now I've got to run a TV match. And you can watching it happen. He's desperate. I need that out of the way because I've got my plan. I've got my plot, right? This CM Punk thing and the hoops they've attempted to jump through and failed to do so has caused, I'm not saying it's irreversible damage, because I feel like we're already seeing Cody Rhodes clean up a little bit of the mess that was made around his character at WrestleMania. The cream always rises to the top in pro wrestling. The real stars find their way back. And CM Punk probably will. Feels like the sky's falling a bit at the moment, but he probably will. But unless the absolute direct narrative decision has been made that following Night of Champions in kayfabe, we are turning CM Punk heel, right? If that decision has been made, then, I mean, in pencil and not even in pen, you can just about give this entire feud a pass. But then I would ask the question, why are you turning one of your hottest TV stars, baby,
the pops
heel
he gets, considering the work he's been doing,
why are you
blows
turning
my
him?
mind. He's so over.
Turn him in a year. Turn him whenever you want to turn. Turn Cody Rhodes whenever, you know what I mean? Turn people when you want to turn them, but show me the justification for it. And there is zero justification to be turning to Cody, zero justification to be turning to CM Punk. So if that was the call, it's an abysmal one. So I don't think it is the call. I think the call is grit our teeth and get through this, because we've decided that we're doing Punk and Cena at Night of Champions. And CM Punk says, I'll follow you to the moon. I'll follow you to hell. And we'll call it Night of Champions rather than calling it Saudi Arabia. John Cena will call it Saudi Arabia and not Night of Champions. So they're both playing their own games a little bit. John Cena can't even perform the idea that he's locked into a program, even if he is. I wouldn't know it because I'm just not buying it from him. And CM Punk looks, for all the world, like he's just trying to escape this program with his babyface credibility in one piece.
It was intense.
Hence the Raw preview, because the job tonight is to be CM Punk steals the show with a promo, and those are 11. He doesn't just get to do that. He needs one.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with that. is what, at this point, can he possibly say? Unless you might think, like, again, if I'm going to criticize WWE, I will do it rationally, I'll think it through, and I'll try not to be hysterical about it. If I was one of those, dickhead, bad faith grifters, I'd go, it's over from, hey, yeah, it's over for CM Punk as a top star and babyface in WWE. Hate is Christmas. I don't think it is. I think whoever is programmed opposite John Cena is not going to get universally cheered, because the John Cena problem has always been some people like him, some people hate him. Fervently in either direction, in fact. Love, hate.
Well, until January 1st, 2025, in which everybody universally loved him.
Yes.
And they turned him heel.
Okay, yeah. It's another bad decision.
It was real bad.
I think CM Punk will emerge from this completely unscathed, pretty much, as a babyface.
I think so,
I just think this is a completely baffling side quest that will be laughed at in the months and years to come, but he'll be absolutely fine.
And an open goal blasted over the bar, because this was one of those programs people were genuinely... I'm saying people, I was genuinely thrilled about and looking forward to getting to see.
Loads of people were. This means a lot to a lot of people. It did to me once upon a time. And again, it goes back to that point that I was trying to make earlier in the podcast of I cannot believe that January 5th, the day before, oh my God, not only are we incandescent, red hot, unstoppable, but to quote Levesque himself, we're taking it to a whole new level. Netflix. And then what the hell's happened? I will say again, maybe they can replicate the magic and bring the goods if in fact this show even goes ahead. I'm leaning towards yes, it's WWE and TKO. Like I'm leaning towards yes, provided there's no escalation in far more significant matters. Like the one time John Cena has looked halfway capable in that wrestling ring since returning. In fact, for about 3 years at this point, was that sequence with Punk at Elimination Chamber. And I don't necessarily think it was just, it doesn't matter what they're doing as long as them two are doing it. It was really dramatic. It was like they just had that, they bottled it again, but the good kind of bottling. Not what Levesque has done with the Netflix era, which is the bad, funny kind of bottling.
The high stakes of Elimination Chamber can be replicated with the high stakes of the WWE title match, and they know how to capture that.
It's just, I cannot believe what they've done with this program. I can't sit here, just speaking out loud, improvised on a podcast about what they could have done with the story instead. But I'm just so baffled by this direction. What an own goal. The idea is to accuse CM Punk, your mega pop babyface star, even in this decline era of Paul Levesque's run, right, as a booker. You are casting him as a hypocrite, as someone who has no foundation as a character and as a persona, because his persona is the good, upstanding guy. And You are attacking his reputation. You are making himself for 6 minutes on end. Like, he looked like... Not being funny, like, I won't say it. Maybe after the podcast I'll say it. He looked like a jabroni who was being taught a lesson in that segment. And they've a character assassination, the most ridiculous sell job I think I've seen in years. And how could it possibly end in a way that, again, I think it's fine. 2 weeks, new directions, post-Saudi, he'll have one, he'll get pops, and then he'll really sink his teeth into the next thing because he'll be allowed to. And if nothing else, CM Punk can still sell stuff. He cannot possibly sell any of this. If he goes on Raw tonight and spins this in a way that sort of does, like, repairs his reputation right now, I'll be astonished, and I'll be so full of praise for his ability as a character and a promo tomorrow. Because what can he say?
Well, what
can he say?
I love the guy at this particular skill, and I think he's failed twice at it.
He's already failed twice at it.
Like the Raw and the SmackDown face-offs, I think on both cases he failed, and this is his kind of biggest and best weapon. Often more than the matches, which I think are a level above, but I don't mind if people don't, because I think when you have those promos on those nights, he proves his worth a gazillion times over, and yet there's been 2 opportunities to do that, and the program's structure has made it so that he can't. This obsession, like, yes, do a John Cena CM Punk story and make it about flipping the pipe bomb. And
it's
take
ultimately far too clever for its own good.
Yeah, take the thing that was most memorable.
To the point where it's not clever at all. But it is thick.
Yeah, if they've sat down and have said, right, we do need to draw, back then, what CM Punk was doing was taking a divisive figure in John Cena and pointing out, laying bare his hypocrisies for the segment of the audience that enjoys that, and then let's go to work and let's see how this plays out. And it's a new sort of frontier for us. And it was obviously supremely successful for the character of CM Punk. They have either gotten so up their own arse with the idea of, right, we need to flip this completely now because, like, you, CM Punk, are the New York Yankees, you are the millionaire, whatever. What hypocrisy do we draw on of CM Punk if John Cena is going to speak that truth to power? Well, I can think of one. And they've landed on the Saudi Arabia thing. That is, again, so clever. It's the thickest thing they could have done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then watching this play out week after week, it's painful. It is. As somebody that loves the CM Punk character and the worker that CM Punk is, as somebody that has definitely loved John Cena at points, and as somebody that loved this, especially loved this, it has been painful for me to sit through and just watch its failures laid bare, and to watch the ultimate, to know that at the end of the year I will feel sadness of what this could have been versus what we've got. And I'll say this now ahead of a match that, yes, could absolutely deliver on the night. Ahead of a Raw where CM Punk could knock out of the park. Seth Rollins could cash in or something, and then it was in service of something. Who knows? All of that could be great, and this will still be something I look back on when we're doing end of year stuff and think, that was a mess. That was a weekly, massive gut-wrenching disappointment that yet again that went wrong, and yet again that went wrong. And I say that completely agreeing with Sidge that in 2 weeks, the CM Punk character will be restored. I don't think this audience will take these.
I mean, you might have to work Seth Rollins again. That's not good.
No.
After the events of, what was it? Comic-Con or Fanatics.
Yeah, that's why I wonder if the cash-in is coming, and then maybe are they thinking WWE title for SummerSlam, possibly, does this give Cena a bit of a breather from being the top guy and being a something? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. This whole Cena
I'm
runs.
Fascinated by the next time CM Punk opens his mouth. I'm fascinated because they've given him something that, for so many reasons, his own hypocrisy, his own, and again, I've said this before, I wish I cared more. I don't. No. I can't help it. It's worked.
But why
it's worked.
Invite your current core fan base to care? Why invite that?
What is he going to do? He can't bury Saudi Arabia because he's, at time of writing, if the show proceeds, at time of recording, sorry, if the show proceeds, he is going.
And like I said to you last week, I think he's thinking Rumble. I think an element of it is
it's sports washing within sports washing, where it's like WWE. Can you imagine if they did by doing WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia? You'd think, are you absolutely joking? That is, even for WWE, that is beyond the pale. You can't think of anything like that.
And it's happening.
Because we've had so much time to process and get calloused to it and all the rest of it. So I think that's a great take, because if Punk just bites the bullet, does this, it's like, right, okay, well, no one cares the next time, or no one does the memes the next time, or it's just everyone's used to it the next time. So that's probably a great point. But in terms of this specific one, he's just going to have to grit his teeth and get on with it, because he can't bury Saudi Arabia because he's going. So he reveal himself to be even more of a hypocrite, which I don't think really matters in front of this WWE crowd, but he might have to work to a different one at some point. But this is what the guy does. And he can't bury Saudi Arabia because they are paying them more than they earn for any WrestleMania. You know what I mean? It's just in terms of giving someone a job that they can't do, it's the equivalent of playing a fetus in an NBA final or a Champions League final. They can't do the job. You don't do that. You give it to a professional footballer or anything, or a professional basketballer. He cannot do this. I'm fascinated by what comes out of his mouth next. Sorry, go on.
So does he show up tonight? Is it one of them things about say nothing now, say nothing Friday, see you Saturday, and then see you later? Is it just a matter of...
He shows up tonight.
You reckon he shows up tonight?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Because this is not your... Again, I'll use the other sort of examples. There are plenty of times when there has been a requirement for CM Punk to take a big swing, and there aren't many more you can trust more than him in that moment. This would be one of those nights. But I think there's just as equal an argument to say, just say nothing.
Yeah.
Close your phone. close your phone, close your eyes, put your fingers in your ears. Let's talk next Monday. You know, or like, I don't know. Like, I think there's an equal argument to sort of say that after Friday. Yeah. Like, because he's got to push back. What people don't remember is, and it's some of it's featured in the video package. They did a little bit in the brilliant CM Punk the movie Money in the Bank video package. Do I have your attention now? There is an element of bam, not a factor, and it's around the bit where Vince McMahon's character says, "If you don't beat CM Punk, you're fired," and that was the WWE's systemic inability to just allow CM Punk to be the babyface. They still had to be this like, but John's doing it for us, and they were inviting you. Michael Cole's commentary, if you listen to it on CM Punk's entrance. He has been called a manipulator. They're still treating him as like this sort of like political outlier, whilst a city and a building.
As great as the pipe bomb was, that was another story they didn't want to tell.
Yeah.
They didn't want to tell the story of this company's crap and CM Punk.
It was years before they admit how much they sucked. You know, like years and years. Like, so even then.
Because they couldn't tell the story from, it was just so powerful and so needed and so cool that you didn't stop to think of, they can't actually see this to its
They are watching and
conclusion.
listening to the representation of how much this has resonated and scratching their head going like, why is this resonating? It was so bizarre. And a version of that, while we're flipping dynamics from 2011, a version of that is what CM Punk would have to do tonight. Like, go and be the babyface and try and square the circle of why elements of what John Cena said might be resonating as you're in the process of one of the more over babyface times of your career. Like, it's...
One more thing on this before I actually say something nice about Raw is maybe a little bit of a conspiracy corner. There's two schools of thought here. Either, as ever, deep down, Triple H, who, if nothing else, in the ring at WrestleMania or when he's booking his episodic TV, loves a long game. I'm not the cynical, and I think people are just prepared to want this as opposed to thinking it's happening. If you were very cynical, and again, even I'm not the cynical, you'd think Triple H has gotten where he wants and thought, lie on the table for 6 minutes, you hypocritical bastard. I'm going to put you in a position of weakness because I have never forgotten the fact that you turned down a WrestleMania match with me.
I thought that.
You know what I mean?
It went through my head watching that, like, the ultimate test of all the tests, there's one of your ultimate ones.
Yeah.
Like, how far can I...
mean, it's the company to do it. Yep. It is the company to do it, and it is the man to do it, you know. Honestly, 3 years of NXT. I'm talking 3 years of NXT, maybe 4, of Triple H pushing your favorites, has done the most unbelievable PR campaign to this guy's like reputation. He is a snake, selfish bastard who will be as vindictive as the man under whom he studied for 25 years.
Between the hours of 9 and 11, we will only remember every petty grudge we've ever had.
Yes, indeed. It's either that's happened or they have just got so obsessed with the idea of trying to blur lines and tell a reality-based story that they've lost the plot of what should be accomplished in the parameters of professional wrestling fictional program, because this has been a funny disaster. Not disaster again too far. It'll be fine. On the subject,
I think it's a self-contained disaster. I do. But then I think the John Cena run is a disaster.
Yeah.
That's a real pipe bomb because that's been so destructive that everything that's come near
and
it.
You know, Cena's a powerful guy. Cena is a powerful guy who doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
Realistically. And again, he had that team player narrative.
He's the ultimate contradiction. He's a powerful guy. He's also a soldier to an almost blind and tone-deaf degree.
But this whole thing of he's always had this in him of like, you're just saying stuff because you want to be edgy. And it's that battle rap DNA within him of, I want to say something to get a reaction. Something vile or something really counterproductive or something that just makes me look cool. He's literally a soldier trained to do precisely this, even if it, that makes no sense.
This is the man who made a sport of like going on a Raw a Monday after a month of storytelling and binning it off to move on to the next month. Like, at the peak of his powers, he was ready to wave away everything that you just watched on TV over the past month and be like, well, on to the next one.
Yeah.
So he's watching all this going like, well, a couple of weeks on to the next one. Like,
yeah. It's just baffling. The more you go into it and you realize the egos of the people involved, you do realize this is probably why they're doing it. Like, Cena would just say stuff. And he just was saying stuff for me during that pipe bomb, or they've just got so obsessed with the idea of being clever. I
think it's all a bit of everything. I think a lot of it's thrown in the air.
Just wild. Why? Like, I'm not being funny, and I will move on to Raw. And I'm sorry for stepping on the dick of the preview. Genuinely, I didn't think it would go to this extent. I feel sorry for Wilbourn. Like, I don't know.
You need anything, mate? Do you need a drink or anything? Or?
I'm good. I'm all
You
good.
good?
I'll still talk about the Cena.
Come over, yeah, if you want.
On the SmackDown review.
This is good because I've got a lot of this
fits.
out of my system now, so I'm not going to be as like cross with Wilbourn when he praises it.
What I'm doing here is saving the tone of the SmackDown preview. Is
I just bring some more crackers up and just eat them while you talk.
I can't remember what I was going to say, actually. It's fine. It's just...
It was bad. Bad TV.
Terrible television. Terrible
You
television.
think it was bad?
I think it was...
In your opinions, you
Yes.
think it was bad? A lot of people liked it at the end of the day.
Loads of people liked it.
I was impressed with the blocking if one of the goals genuinely was...
To make him look like a tit.
No, to honour a contract to Slim Jim. Mm-hmm. Can we keep the logo? Is there any way we can keep the logo nakedly on screen for such a sustained period of time? I got an idea. Genuinely, I was watching that because I'm a Slim Jim table appreciator, right? Shamelessly, so I think that's quite funny. And I think sod it, stick the adverts wherever the hell you want. I don't hold tables in such a sacred space that you cannot put a brand on them. But it did cross my mind as I'm watching because my eyes were constantly glued to CM Punk sleeping, right? It was preposterous.
I was going to do the Joey screen grab. You're sleeping.
It was.
I settled on the bomb instead when I wanted to reply to you.
I've noticed this, by the way. You become a reply guy, haven't you? When I'm criticising the Fed, it's like I'm going to double down. Like, yeah, it was so rubbish to look at that I was like, I've been staring at a Slim Jim logo for quite a while when I'm not looking at CM Punk's
Quite
face.
peckish.
Yeah. Might go and buy a meat stick. Why?
Aye. I tell you what, though, away from all that, this King and Queen of the Ring, I echo Hamflett. Like, they've done a really good job of booking this. They have told it's like, this is better than the Rumble in terms of what the Rumble should achieve. A series of interactions between wrestlers from which subplots spawn, character arcs get maintained, stakes are high, and all the rest of it, you know? This is the fatal... I know it sounds like a facetious sentence, right? The fatal four ways that precede the title shot in the King and Queen of the Ring. Better than the Rumble. I mean, what isn't?
It's the best bit of this year, by the way.
But
I was told.
They've... again, told the story of Sami Zayn, the Nelly Man. They've reheated, if you like, Jey Uso, or told you this wasn't just, you know, this.
My mom's back in the hunt straight away,
Not just this little, thank you for being over, and your fans are probably kicking off a little bit, so we'll give you the title, see you later. Like, straight back in the hunt. The very presence of him in this semi-final.
Yep. Like Cody doing it the right way.
Yeah, like Cody's been... like, you know, effectively reinserted as the top guy of all of this. No, I think this has been genuinely really quite strong. And I've got a winner in mind, and I've got a Fuad in mind, potentially, for what happens. Well, I'm previewing SmackDown, so I'll tell you now. It's Cody, and it's going to be Cody, Randy, and I think they're going to follow a similar template to the Kevin Owens program where Cody will get it done, maybe by doing something heel adjacent, accidentally.
Yeah.
But it's like, he's going to take advantage of that. Like,
spins out of an RKO and it's like an accidental low blow.
Something like
and
that.
Like Orton folds over to selling the Cody Cutter or the Crossroads.
Or like an innocuous mistake that he's genuinely not deliberately tried to do. But Randy Orton, with his character, will interpret as, you sneaky bastard. You know, this is the kind of thing I would do. And I know this, that you've got this in you because you studied under me all those years ago. Even if it's like, oh God, I didn't expect my foot to be under the ropes there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just some kind of...
Because they built this months ago as well with Randy saying, one of these days, it was when Cody was still champion, like, one of these days I'm coming for that, but I'm telling you to your face, I wouldn't do what Kevin Owens did. So they've laid that in there for whenever they were going to get to it. And obviously everyone's always speculated on how the eventual Randy Orton heel turn comes, and the idea that it comes from something that starts rational, ends up back with the
Yeah.
Of course I should have known you were going to do that.
Yeah.
This is on you, asshole. And like could stop Cody winning the belt back as well, which is a very believable diversion. Like if you're trying to create an obstacle and it's like Randy Orton allowing career rival John Cena to stay at WWE at Cody Rhodes' expense.
Yeah.
You bastard.
It's good heel stuff. Like he could interfere in the main event of SummerSlam.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Following this. Like, there's some good booking. Like, you shouldn't be too scared yet, Hamflett. Like,
this is it. Like, that's what is, in its own way.
Don't think about John Cena. A lot of this is quite still well booked.
SmackDown, thank God for Raw this year. SmackDown's becoming good again because some Raw wrestlers turn up.
Thank God for the New Day.
Raw wrestlers turn up on SmackDown now and it's more eventful, so thanks for all. Tuesdays is where I feel the most alive in my interest and investment in the Fed.
Me too.
Wednesday
mornings.
Yeah, the Tuesday, Wednesday bubble. It's still, there's still loads. Well, this is the thing with the Triple H as well, the way he plots and the long stuff that bores everybody means that he's still leaving stuff in there. He is still mapping out stuff.
And how far it goes as well. Sorry, I'm stepping on your dick.
No, but that's it. Like he does do the big
something
cycles.
like Cody Kevin Owens will linger long in the memory because of how long it took. So you instantly recall it when you like sort of try and ponder how is that going to impact or whatever the next thing that Cody does, which is kind of like this.
It's happened with the Judgment Day as well.
Yeah,
even on the weeks where we've complained about, like, all right, I get to the point now. It's like, well, no, some of that is in place because it burns in your memory. When you move on to the next bit of it, you're like, oh, well, that is kind of where they were at there. And then, it
adds like this long term, do the same thing. Hammer this home, hammer this home, hammer this home is genuinely like effective booking. Like we were talking about, who are Mark Briscoe's mates again? Who could have saved him at Arena Mexico? And our otherwise glowing review of that show. And it's just like, all of them? He's teamed with all of them in these like wacky trio scenarios, and there's no real heft to it. And then when it comes time to do something to the Mark Briscoe character that in theory is like a transgression or not cool, you start to think, maybe we shouldn't have dicked about in these wacky trios, as fun as they were in the moment.
Yeah.
Just, bit of tribalism there. The other shade of things. But no, Cody's going to win. Interesting in that Cody has been booed more than once this year, but it's not a big deal because I'm thinking twice.
Yeah,
that's actually WrestleMania, but
WrestleMania weekend,
that's a given.
Vegas, yeah, some of Vegas wasn't very kind to him. Yeah,
but that's about it.
He won them over on the night on that Friday.
Yeah, it's about it. There was another Cena interaction pre-WrestleMania on the road where you were like, ooh, what are you doing that for? Like,
I think John Cena, whose career, and character hadn't completely turned that, this completely sucks and is irredeemably bad. There was still a little bit of, it could still be good. He's talking a lot of rubbish.
It was a WrestleMania match. Because it was like the idea, like Cody's this guy who like, they'll get it right on the night.
Yeah.
And when they did not. What's
the reaction here? Because this is a bit of bull booking actually from Levesque for once.
I really hope it's all obviously just real fever pitch babyface stuff at the bell. And
both these guys stuff.
Yeah. And then Cody's kind of for the first time, the ability to be not even like really a situational heel, but I'm thinking like let him be AEW Cody tonight against someone like a Darby Allin, the more experienced, a slightly condescending wrestler Cody Rhodes, who wins out through learning his lesson midway through the match, has the control, has the offense, maybe works a body part.
Jay's still carrying a bit of an injury.
Yeah, not as cruel as Gunther with it. So he's not targeting things and he's not like being like nasty about it, but he's strategic.
Yeah.
And he knows where those lines are. He's done everything in wrestling in terms of character dynamics, often to his own detriment, but like you can use it here. And then in the run up to the like Jey Uso getting the hope spots. By the time Cody's winning, it doesn't feel like a cut off. It feels like, we've been in a real even battle here and I'm the one that's prevailed. And handshakes and hugs at the end. Like, maybe.
What do you think?
I just thought the thing on SmackDown was amazing. I loved that. Cody does his big entrance, does not say a word.
Yeah.
And Jade is saying, 4 letters, 1 word, yeet. And Cody just looks at him. And I was like, what are you planning? I'm fascinated.
I thought it was a great facial expression.
Nice, they were out there for so long and Cody not getting
so you're gonna run
anything.
Back and he's like, fine, whatever you want. kick your ass on Monday.
And Cody is pretty damn great at playing situational heel, which might be a layer to this.
I wonder as well, and it would help if Cody was sort of taken out of the ring in some sort of aftermath of some kind. I don't know what. But if Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, and Bronson Reed do some sort of post-match stuff, now that there's a bit of existing stuff with Jey Uso, and let's say they're beating him up, Seth and Cody have this thing at the moment, don't they? And Cody's not been physically involved either way.
Seth said something in his ear on SmackDown, I believe it was.
If in the after, they both made mates, and everything's fine, and everything's kosher, and then in the aftermath, Cody's rolled to the floor for some reason. Maybe he's taken out by another heel. Maybe there's some sort of... It's not going to be Gunther, but let's say it was just Gunther, right? And he's taking Cody out. Then Seth's crew attacks, and it's to get Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn makes the save because that's what faces do for each other. But Cody's sort of conveniently been left aside from it. I think that would be quite an interesting way to use that and keep Cody as, you and Jey are mates, right? Because you didn't really help that. But what's going on with you and Seth, and why have you held off? I think something's cooking up there, but I can't work out what it is. Seth's cash-in relates to it. Where does that cash-in's coming sooner rather than later. I agree with you on that. I think it's got SummerSlam ramifications, maybe. I don't know if it's as straightforward as, maybe it is, but I don't think it's as straightforward as Cody and Cena rematch yet.
John Cena has said all along, though, I'm going to retire with that title. The only real endpoint of that story that they've been telling since, April?
Yeah.
Or February, when was the Chamber? He says he was going to win it and do He kind of has to just win.
It would be a real upset if he lost the belt now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it has to be like...
I think there's a chance, by the way.
You think there's a chance?
I think Punk leaves Night of Champions as champion.
Well, I reckon that's a good point as well, because...
Punk Cody at SummerSlam.
I think
that's WrestleMania size.
Yeah, I keep thinking Seth does the Brock Roman cash-in and cashes in midway through and pins CM Punk, with the idea being that Cena and Punk are still kind of stalemated. Neither one's had to pin the other. And if you want to revisit that at a different point, you can do. But Seth's yet again heist of the century at it, and he's done it on CM. He's pinned CM Punk on purpose to set up their final. I don't need you anymore. I've beaten you. Well, we're good. And Punk's like, no, no, you didn't. I've just gone 20 minutes with John Cena, and you've money that I know what it is to get cashed in on. I know what it is to cash in. We're going one more time, and then that's your SummerSlam WWE title match. But then the John Cena thing is, they've definitely sold this premise on, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm leaving with this belt. And Cody Rhodes is the one guy. Punk said it himself. You cheated to beat our best guy, Cody Rhodes. It's there in canon that Punk believes that Cody's still the ultimate savior. But I'll get it done. I guess I'll follow you to the moon. Or hell. Or Night of Champions PLE.
Yeah.
I'll follow you all three places. That's all of them.
There were people who said, I know we're all over the place, but yeah, here for the ride, that surely Punk's winning the title in Saudi after that. You know what I mean?
It was such a...
It was such a, Jesus Christ, how's he going to recover from that? Oh, he's a WWE champion.
Yeah.
So no, I can see that as well, potentially. I forgot where we were. But Cody's beating Jey.
Yeah,
Cody's beating Jey.
I think Cody's beating Jey. I'm so excited for that tonight.
Yeah.
Really buzzing to see how that plays out in terms of, I want Cody out first. Normally I want the big entrance last. I want to see Cody. I want them to cut to Cody as Jey's making his entrance. Whereas previously he'd be like, look at him, just waiting.
Yeah.
Come on, take this beating.
Cody Rhodes has got that sophisticated, you can approach that line. He's done it many a time, played a bit situational heel. Some people just think he's a bit of a dick. But a lot of baby faces have got that gene, haven't they?
He's not really explored it in WWE, which is what makes this quite captivating.
Yeah.
I think.
The AJ Styles and Kevin Owens finishes, people thought in some circles, but then certain wrestling fans who don't get turnabout's fair play.
Yeah.
But then maybe it's just Cody's quality of being a bit of a jock dick. And I mean that with all the affection in the world, by the way.
I also think they're taking a simpler route out of Jey Uso, top guy. And I think defeat here is part of that. I suppose, the way we're talking about this is one day down the line, are they going to take Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso as this serious battle for babyface supremacy? And I guess what I'm saying is I don't think that's necessarily the case. No. I definitely see the fact that Jimmy Uso has introduced himself into this Solo Sikoa Jacob thing as a babyface seems to be the first step to the Usos getting back together, doesn't it? that was the first thing. Jimmy Uso comes to save Jacob Fatu. Right, we're back to having our babyface and heel Samoan lines being drawn. And Jey Uso obviously belongs on the babyface side with Jimmy and Jacob or whatever. So, like, that to me felt like the tag team reunion is happening sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go next? You want to go Queen of the Ring? You want to go Women's IC title?
I cannot wait for this Queen of the Ring match. I cannot wait for it.
Who is it again?
It's Roxanne Perez versus Jade Cargill.
Ah!
This is like a sort of, I can't remember what the example was you used the other week, but there was a match that was booked, and it was like, there's a Dynamite graphic drop.
It was Punk Styles El Grande Americano.
That was it. This is one of them for me. There's a Dynamite graphic drop element of like, they're on the roster. At the same time.
They can interact, actually.
What is this? Like, Jade Cargill is in there with, and you know, like Roxanne Perez has had to go through the proving ground and the tests of NXT, but let us not forget that Prodigy was no simple nickname. There's a real element that like what she offers goes way beyond just a character, and as a wrestler, like years ahead of her own age and her experience level for what she's brought from the very beginning. And frankly, having this Raw match with Jade Cargill, not to denigrate what Jade Cargill brings as a wrestler, is as big a test as like working 18 months as a heel. Because tonight, there is the goal here of trying to make this match so credible that you send Jade Cargill off to the final as somebody ready to become queen. Mm-hmm. Like the wrestler, she's got everything else but the matches, Jade Cargill. I think that's not a hot take or anything. Everything but the matches. And even when she was having a run of matches as the TBS champion, you never really shook off that feeling that anything beyond a squash was a step too far. And then you had things like the tag run with Bianca, the big three, the heat of the Naomi program. That carries a lot. You're still waiting for Jade Cargill, the complete package, to show itself.
We're waiting a long time.
But fake it till you make it in wrestling sometimes. And this is a match that might present that.
We've seen some outliers.
Yeah.
Like, I will always remember it was the smoothest, most dramatic Jade Cargill match that I've seen to date. I think they tried to run it back on pay-per-view and it wasn't very good.
I know what you're on about.
Rampage, Jade Cargill, Anna Jay.
Yeah.
One of the big, like, over-deliveries. I remember there was, like, that wheelbarrow from the Jaded. I was like, that is an awesome spot. I fully expect them to run that back, by the way. You know, it's not AEW's intellectual property, you know. They're allowed to do a wheelbarrow. I expect that to happen. And if they can maintain that thread of, like, Jade Cargill can be guided, she can overperform to her ability level, which, let's face it, is low and it's not necessarily the point, yada, yada, yada. But if that thread can be followed, that's the best Jade Cargill match, where she gets cocky, she can be domineering, and then she'll just, because she, like, part of her character is, I'm amazing, I'm strong, I'm jacked, and all the rest of it. Maybe just a little bit too much of a grin in the Jaded, and then, oh no, I've been wheelbarrowed 2.99999. If they can tell that story and maintain that thread and not go too long, this has got over-delivery written all over it. And
I know, like, bells and whistles is a derogatory term in theory, but there'd be nothing wrong with the bells and whistles of Raquel and Dom creating movement on the floor.
Jade Cargill kicking Dominic Mysterio's ass.
This is it.
Could be
he gets on the apron,
great.
and she kicks him off, and the crowd go bananas.
I mean, that could be great.
Like, you know, there's a near fall off the back of it while the crowd are still hot off that. The face off with Raquel because they're both bigger. And I'm not scared of you. You know, like, the get out of my face, I'm winning this match. And then you've got, at the same time, the drama around Liv Morgan's gone, and all of a sudden Dom and Raquel have both, like, raced to Roxanne's help. Like, the first week, I'm out injured, and both of you are out there cheerleading for her, trying to help her win. Like, you're leaving. Yeah. Like, Liv Morgan's just become one of the most sympathetic wrestlers in the whole company, like, overnight.
It's that story just feeds itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got, like, I don't know how good the match can be fundamental-wise, but I've got high expectations for the experience of this. I really cannot wait to look at this.
Yeah, and thinking you use this, you don't have to. Obviously, I think this match is going to be great in and of itself, but you could use this as a conduit to get to presumably still the Bellas versus the tag team champions from the Judgment Day.
I think your Freebird pitch is a one. Definitely. Roxanne, like, Finn's like a big smile on his face. Great news, guys. What's that? I've been and spoken to Postman Pierce and he's approved a Freebird rule. Roxanne, you're a tag team champion. And everybody's like, what have you done, Finn? And he's like, it's great, right? The belt to stay with us. Just
like, she's still warm.
Yeah.
She is still warm when you're doing this.
So maybe Nikki takes out Raquel or something here.
Aye. She was...
AJ takes out...
You're forgetting, though.
AJ takes out Dom because they've got their title match coming up at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that.
Yeah.
You're forgetting something, though. You fools.
Yeah.
Allow me to become Reddit Sidgwick. Brie Bella's not had a phone call, guys. So you got to take the wrestler at their word. That's what you do. That's what you do with professional wrestlers. You take them at their word. That's how you go on in life.
Come on, guys. Believe the wrestlers when they talk.
Honestly, if you got an account there, I'll leave it at that.
What? Sorry. What were you saying?
If you got an account at Reddit, you can suck my dick, numbnudge.
That's awkward.
Well, have you got an account on Reddit?
I've been on the front page of Reddit. Thank you very much.
Come on, man. You know that
Some
kind
respect on the name.
You know how to take, man. It's just classic Sedgwick.
Right. So we all go Jade Cargill.
Should very quickly tell the story of that.
Yeah.
So I was writing a list. I'm in the process of writing a list. And I was like, right, okay, I need some turn of the century internet memories to just research a bit of inspo. So I typed in, like, what was the earliest websites you went on, just for something I'm writing on. And that was like RajawWWF.com and WrestleZone, which is still around in some capacity. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy's weird.
What was he? Yeah, what's his name?
Forget, but
Dave Shearer?
No, that's the PW Torch other
yeah.
guy. I forget, but this guy's weird.
Rec Sport Pro Wrestling.
It's stuff like that. And then, so what was your first? I was on this. I was on GeoCities. That's how early I was on. Someone underneath. Yeah, my first experience was WhatCulture before they became cynical BuzzFeed wannabes. Michael Sidgwick. 50 Cent at my desk. What did I do? I'm just trying to do research.
Love that, man.
For my free content.
Like we weren't cynical BuzzFeed wannabes from day one.
Yes, exactly.
Are we all going Jade Cargill then?
Yes.
Yes, it makes all the sense.
Like
Jade Cargill ask could be good.
You were the first person to flag this up. Like the idea of Jade Cargill becoming women's champion to be cashing on by Naomi.
Oh my God.
After Jade Cargill has like dog walked Naomi in their program. And it's like, I didn't forget that. And like, now I'm champion and you're a loser.
He's already tried to cash in twice.
Yeah.
It's happening.
It's coming soon, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
I love a little caution bike, by the way.
Yeah. Naomi's the best.
This is SmackDown fodder. They are already doing too good a job with Naomi to the point where you can feel the baby face. Like we're leaving the WWE boom because they are losing touch with how to keep the characters the way that they actually want the characters. She's going out there as this heel and cackling away and like evil schemes, and it's like audiences are just coming around to it. There was a long period where, like, you know what happened? The baddies got booed and the goodies got cheered.
Yeah.
And you can't take that little period for granted because we're coming away from it again. It's like, no, cheer Tiffany Stratton. We don't want to. We really want to cheer her.
You're already looking past her, aren't you? You're already looking to Naomi as champion.
Yeah.
We also have tonight Bron Breakker versus Penta. After everyone keeps getting involved in each other's business. LA Knight.
Yeah.
Thank you. Taken out on SmackDown as well.
Yeah.
Bron Breakker's a dog now, I've learned.
Bron Breakker's a dog.
He's hilarious.
I mean, he's a dog.
Always was a dog.
Yes, but now he's legitimately just a dog.
Butch. Get Butch involved.
I mean, it helped him.
Yeah, but Bron Breakker didn't need help.
That's true.
He was on the cusp.
Bron Breakker, Penta.
The best version of this match kicks ass.
Yeah.
I'd rather Bron Breakker wasn't a dog.
This feels familiar, Bron Breakker and Penta, but it's not bad when they come together. It's generally good stuff, but it's a bit overfamiliar. The Seth Rollins group and their ongoing issue with LA Knight, again, is just one of the things, if nothing else, has been like a great benefit to SmackDown. Like LA Knight feels revived by it. We had that story last week that Netflix have requested him. So that must be good for your ego. Like,
Have requested who, sorry?
LA Knight.
Oh, really?
Like,
Raw, yeah.
That was like an edict, and so this is probably part of his move over to Raw, and somebody gets to go in that. So yeah, like, I'm not massively moved by this match on paper, but they'll do something cool. They will. Like, Bron Breakker and Penta will do something cool together, and LA Knight, does really feel revived off this. You could tell it, like, in the stuff with Paul Heyman on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the bit between his teeth again, and he doesn't. LA Knight's not a boo-boo face wrestler, but his entire character is boo-boo face.
He kind of is a boo-boo face
When
wrestler.
It's not.
He's a bit boo-boo.
No, like, his whole demeanor is boo-boo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the sort of thing where like it's not just like one match where he's been told, you're going out there and getting pinned tonight. It's like it's been 6 months of boo-boo. Like all of his 2025 was boo-boo adjacent, and just now it feels like that's been lifted. And maybe it is because the Raw move is coming and the Seth Rollins rivalry. Maybe there's probably him and Seth a Saturday night's main event, or not a SummerSlam, but you know what I mean, like a kind of a big TV main event or something like that. That feels like he's been told that you're going to lose this program, but you're working with these guys. You needed to heat up these heels, so you're getting that.
Yeah. I don't know who wins. It's one of those where it doesn't necessarily matter.
Not really. Might be a Debbie Deeks, this one,
Oh, it's got probably written all over it, actually, now that you mention it. But no, I think like there's some cool scope for interaction here. They highlighted WrestleMania to a degree.
Yeah.
Alongside, 2 other matches. No, I'm excited for this. Don't care who wins, but I would rather Bron Breakker wasn't a dog. I'm starting to laugh at him a little bit now.
I love the thing where someone edited a doorbell into the backstage bit. I'm really excited for the Goldberg appearance this week. Not because it's Goldberg, but because it's a, quote, sit-down interview with Bill Goldberg. What the hell's going to happen here?
I don't care. I don't know. Like, he confirms it's his final match.
Yeah.
That's WWE have put that out there now, so that's going to get talked about, which is fine because it wasn't touched upon last week. I would guess one of the reasons they've landed on sit down is because last week was can you remember all your stuff, Bill? And then the answer was no. So sit down is potentially pre-taped, so that means that they can get everything right.
Sit there 7 hours, you can get something right.
Ducks in a row stuff,
I suppose they can splice in, because I did like the sort of... Did they show something on SmackDown? I was misremembered this. They sort of spliced in when he said, you started something with my family in Atlanta, and then they showed footage. They can do that again here to sort of hammer home the point of, like, this is the reason why I want it to take place at this point. This is why I've arguably got this match, because that's what everyone had
there is absolutely no harm at all in doing, like, an interview spliced with clips of Goldberg rocking Atlanta in 98.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, a crowd, like, you just never know who has never seen Goldberg at his absolute peak.
Yeah.
And then him, while these clips are airing, him saying, I know I'm not that guy, but I know a bit of me is left. And the bit of me that is left is, like, remembering what Gunther said about my family, and Gunther's going to be made to pay for that. He thinks that he's going in there against, like, a 20, 30-year-older version of the guy in these clips or whatever. Like, most of that is true, but what he hasn't accounted for is like that sort of like fire that still burns whenever people cross me, and Gunther's crossed me, and the stupidest place to do that was Atlanta. And there's also, and like you've got you're splicing the images and whatever, and you're seeing they're not trying to tell you like 32-year-old prime Goldberg is going out there. They're not selling you that, but they are showing you the little bit of him that remains, and because they're not probably going to use the Brock clips.
I don't think there's any pathos to that. This in any way, shape, or form.
I'm trying to find something because I'm massively unmoved by it.
I would like that. I would like that. I do like the pitch of like the Last Gunslinger, like a tried and like Bill Watts was doing that stuff way back in the 80s. It's not WWE's MO. WWE's MO is go on, Nash, dye
big, strong alphas.
Yeah, your Diesel, dye your beard. They never really tell stories. Really, correct us if I'm wrong, but to do with age. The closest they'll dance around it is John Cena's not the same, so he's taking shortcuts.
And women.
Of course.
Yeah. You're allowed to be ageist if it's women.
Women.
Yes.
That's, I don't know. I think they will keep it simple. They will present Goldberg as if he's near enough the same guy. They won't tell a story of pathos or of a guy nearing his end. Like, I don't know. Like, it's Goldberg. He's taking the money. It's fine. He's doing essentially what he's told, but he's got enough political muscle to flex and say, well, I'm not doing that. The way he goes on, I can't remember. I think I read this. It might have been a parody account or whatever on Twitter, so I can't really vouch for it. But I think he said something like, "Why am I getting the title shot? My streak was 173, and I don't wait in line."
It's like Wilbourn defending like an NXT wrestler. Well, I think you'll find he was successful on last Tuesday's show.
And that is what 20? How many? 20?
Nearly 30 years ago.
Yeah, nearly 30 years ago. Yeah.
27, 28 years ago.
Yeah.
3 decades later.
They don't really tell
that's
stories
a fair point.
about emotion and aging and all the rest of it.
It's a weakness rather than a
I think they might do
Punk
because
does,
it's his
to be
last
fair,
match.
to a
Punk
degree-
does.
to
If
a
it's his last
degree.
match, if they're selling it as his last match, they might do it.
I hope so. For me, I mean, that's the story.
I'd have that this week, and then next week. That this week, and then next week, Gunther does a talk show segment, right? Ding dong, guten tag, right?
Into it.
And he's got the door
Keep
that
talking.
Gunther
Right, I was wondering how
Yes.
that was
Himself
going.
on.
Hey, you know
just
what?
interviews the door.
Love it.
He's
Love it.
like, I know this is meant to be forbidden, but
Very good.
Huh?
If they did,
That's a step too far.
if they did like something like a really sentimental and earnest, Goldberg sits down, talks about why this match matters, but really it's a bit of a reflection on a career and a life in wrestling well lived and all that sort of stuff. And it's almost sweet by it. Like I was making the comparison to Terry Funk last week because of Goldberg's knees, but let's actually Terry Funk this guy. Let's make this the one, like the last gunslinger sort of thing, and you're just actually feeling right. Yeah, sod it. Yeah, you're going into your inevitable defeat, but like you're doing it like with such pride and dignity. That's great, and that's its own babyface trait. And then next week, just Gunther does just a total piss take of it where he sits down.
Yeah.
And he insists on his own sit down time, and there's like, here's some clips of me killing guys.
and then kills Goldberg's son.
Right, yeah,
okay,
I keep
yeah.
forgetting you wanted that. Yeah,
To
yeah.
the bit where Gage gets his ass kicked.
Nah, the way Goldberg carried himself on Raw last week was very much, well, I'm back to kick ass all over again. Nothing ever, like I never left and nothing ever changed. It's just, for me, and
you might
again,
be right.
I'm prepared to be surprised. I will welcome it, really, but it's not the story they tend to tell.
Yeah, I don't sense Goldberg likes it. He's like a cryogenically frozen in time guy, isn't he, Goldberg?
Yeah, good as new.
Yeah.
You're not.
Speaking of title matches, one last thing to talk about on Raw tonight, and that is the Women's Intercontinental Championship match between Becky Lynch and Bayley.
I mean, I would be surprised if there was a second Debbie Deeks, but we got two in a row on SmackDown, so could do it. This happening now is unexpected. You've got Evolution, which felt like this was the place for it. You got a million shows, so many shows. So it makes you think, well, I'm probably looking at a triple threat with Lyra for Evolution. They're going to put her, probably going to put her back into the mix based on Lyra being like, hey, Bayley, you could have told us you were nice to see you. Could have told me this was happening. You
were looking at what's right for you, and I'll do the same.
Yeah, you didn't need to keep me in the dark, but I guess
But then
that's what we're
Bayley
doing.
can also turn around and say, well, you replaced me.
Yeah,
Quite quickly, didn't you?
There's like, that's it. There's like sort of justifiable
There's tensions. There's
beef and that, and like and this match getting, they would have to do it as like, there would have to be an honourable reason why this was thrown out. Like, you don't just want Becky Lynch cheating to win. Bayley's just come back. Bayley can't beat Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental title. Like, she just can't. So that's why
the fast lane.
just leans towards a Debbie Deeks for something else down the line. The match, though, I will be leaning in. I want this. I'm rooting for this to be good. I really, really want this to be good. Bayley's not got it in it every time, but I love it on the few occasions when she still does. And Becky Lynch has it in her most of the time, quite honestly. So I really, really hope this is just a good bit of business and makes you actually want the following matches. Like, again, DQs and count-outs, I think, get a bad rap because of the overuse in the latter days of Vince era and the necessity of AEW being like, we're just doing away with them.
Yeah.
It kind of criminalized them as finishes when used effectively and sparingly, they're actually all right. If you have a match that is so good and so heated that people want to see a version of it again and it gets thrown out and they're not booing a cowardly
People are
finish.
wanting mask versus hair for Mystical MJF now.
Perfect example. They're not booing a cowardly finish, they're booing not quite getting all the vindication they wanted. And if that involves Lyra Valkyria for a three-way, I think you're all right. It's delicate, though.
Yeah, I suppose the way they could do it quite cutely is Becky tries to either leave or cheat or whatever, and Lyra gets involved to be like, no. But she's also still got underlying feelings from having to put a belt around Becky. Yeah. Bayley's like,
that was my chance.
That's when you do the triple threat at Evolution or even at SummerSlam.
That's, see again, I don't mind that, because Lyra Valkyria was left with all that anger towards Becky with nowhere for it to go. She's lost the title now and she cannot get a shot. Becky won't let her back in. And that's, that would play nicely with the delicate tension between Lyra and Bayley as much as
Becky can lean on of like, we've done pretty quickly, didn't you?
Yeah, like Becky's able to manipulate that. That is a
You
perfect
messaged me that night when Bayley was attacked saying, am I free for WrestleMania or whatever?
Yeah,
There's loads that can do with this. Believable tension between all three parties. If it does result in a triple threat, it'll be one of the more well-booked ones. Because we know the rule Wilbourn that.
Yeah, apparently triple threats are bad, but
no,
WrestleMania weekend, I seem to remember 3 pretty excellent ones.
There's not a different rule that has sense.
I can't remember that, sorry. What was that? Sorry.
Well, the rule is the Bills don't tend to be good, but they're all right on the night.
Bayley Becky, the match needs to be decent, by the way. You can't do all that.
No, have some standards, bro. It needs to be great.
You can't do everything we've just said off the back of a Turkerino, because then what you're trying to do is be like, that thing that just stunk? Want another go at it? Like it has to back itself,
I know that Bayley has been, and it's obviously in character. She is building a match with Becky Lynch, but she keeps saying, we're not road buddies. We were never that close. It's all fueling this. It's all feeding into it, but this is going to be great. Come on. WWE has been telling you for literally at this point, actually a decade, if not a decade and change. I was thinking of the curtain call, and I don't know when they were first referred to as the Four Horsemen. They've been telling you for over a decade, these are the 4 best women who ever stepped through the door and changed everything. I mean, this has got to be, if it's not going to be technically immaculate or just this out-and-out great match, it's going to be some serious emotional heft. Otherwise, it'll just ring hollow as this marketing exercise. I don't think it's going to be decent. I think it's going to be great if they're going to keep telling me all of this that they tell me constantly about the 4 horsewomen and the law and all the rest of it, because when Charlotte Flair's finished, like Mercedes Money's not there. Bayley's had some bad years, some real bad years. I think this is...
Becky Lynch is better than she was when they were talking her up as being...
Yes, yeah. No, I think this has got, like, for their own... Because they'll refer back to the horsewomen in the same way they'll revert back to, the NWO, the Monday Night Wars. I'm not saying it's the same level of significance, but it's a thing they love to hammer. I think this needs to be great. Otherwise, that the romance of the whole thing, it's kind of already in danger of evaporating. Charlotte Flair being primarily responsible for that.
It's the nicest
she
match.
She is finished.
Like the theme of evolution, this would be the nicest match to illustrate that, wouldn't it? Because you've got Lyra Valkyria, who could argue herself as a natural evolution of both Bayley and Becky Lynch. Like, I am the replacement for both of you in my own way. Like, that's a match that sort of reflects one of the themes of that show, and certainly the theme of the last show. Like, probably the best on the whole card for it. The rest are going to be matches happening right now. The Bellas, nobody's saying, like, the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan, whatever, like the next step forward from the Bella Twins. It's just a match to have a fouet over the belts. This 3-way is Lyra kind of being positioned and propped up. And I'm talking in real life here, not in kayfabe, by both Becky and Bayley as somebody that takes all this forward. Yeah. She's showing the makings of being that wrestler as well.
Lots to look forward to on Raw tonight. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch they can follow all 4 of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
Emma Sidgwick.
Or our brilliant producer, Adam Nicholas, at...
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Got the SmackDown review and Collision review coming your way later on today. But for now, it's been the Raw preview. My thanks to Hamflett and Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.